Our top focus, nearly 20,000 people still stranded in Tuticorin in South Tamil Nadu amid unprecedented rains. The army joined rescue operations today as the deluge continued for the fourth day. There were no fresh rains, but snapped rail and road network have emerged as challenges for the rescue teams. Sam Daniel reports from Tuticorin.
Three days since the rain stopped, but the desperate need for food and essentials continues for thousands who are marooned in Tuticorin. More than 20,000 people along the river Tamarabarani are still cut off without electricity, food and water. The Coast Guard and Air Force are reaching out, but it's impossible to reach everyone in need.
Situation is very bad. This is a natural calamity.
Right.
We couldn't complain to any government.
Tempers are running high. Here, women are blocking the Tirunelveli-Tuticorin highway. They've lost everything in floods, but they say not a single MLA has visited them so far. They say they've been left to fend for themselves. Traffic came to a halt on this highway for more than 3 hours as desperate and angry people protested the lack of help. Among the protesters is this single mother who told me she lost everything to the floods and doesn't even have a change of clothing.
நாங்க இப்ப அதோகதியா நிக்கோம் எம்எல்ஏ அங்க இருக்காங்க அவங்களுக்கு எந்த பாதிப்பும் கிடையாது ஓட்டறது எந்த பாதிப்பும் கிடையாது அவங்க வீட்டு சேஃப்டியா இருக்காங்க வரலாம் இவ்வளவு வண்டி வரும்போது அவங்க ஏன் வர முடியாது.
The army and 2 teams of NDRF accessed more cut-off areas including the worst affected Sri Vaikuntham, but it's taken far too long.
3 lakh overflow waters, 1,400 acre waters in overflow in 3 villages in buildings are height.
In Tuticorin with Suresh, Sam Daniel, NDTV.
Meanwhile, showdown in Parliament for the second day in a row over TMC MP Kollan Banerjee's mimicry. BJP MP stood through the whole question hour in Rajya Sabha in solidarity with the Rajya Sabha chairman Jagdeep Dhankar. However, in an exclusive conversation with NDTV's Rajiv Ranjan, the TMC MP said he was not copying Dhankar. He also pointed out that the PM himself had mimicked someone in Parliament last year.
एमपी को सस्पेंड किया है, ये मॉकरी ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी हो गया। मिमिक्री एक तो आर्ट है, हमारा कोई इंटेंशन नहीं था उनको हर्ट करने के लिए।
After 2 days of a war of words between the government and opposition over his mimicry of Rajya Sabha chairperson Jagdeep Dhankar, TMC MP expressed regret today, though not an apology.
Shri C. Thomas and Shri M. Arif MPs.
Suspensions continued with 2 more MPs being suspended, Thomas Chazikadan and AM Arif, taking the total suspensions in both houses to 143. Protests by the opposition demanding a statement from the Home Minister on security breach on December 13 also continued for the 5th day. Meanwhile, both the Prime Minister and President extended their support to Jagdeep Dhankar.
जगदीप धनखड़ की कितनी बेइज्जती करो मुझे कोई चिंता नहीं है, पर मैं ये बर्दाश्त कभी नहीं करूंगा कि मेरे पद की गरिमा मैं सुरक्षित नहीं रख पाया। इस सदन की गरिमा को सुरक्षित रखना मेरा काम है।
जोकर का काम पकड़ लिया उन्होंने, जोकर वाला काम पकड़ लिया।
Lok Sabha saw empty benches of opposition as 3 bills to replace the IPC, CRPC and the Indian Evidence Act were passed.
हमारे संविधान का जो स्पिरिट है, वो स्पिरिट के हिसाब से कानून बनने जा रहा है।
The bills look at increasing the ambit of terrorism, bringing in counterfeit notes and smuggling into its ambit. It also has a separate section on mob lynching, equating it to murder. There were also discussions on CGST, telecom bill and other bills in Rajya Sabha. But with the opposition readying for a nationwide protest on Friday, a lot of action is anticipated from both sides on Thursday. With Vasudha Venugopal,
NDTV Bureau Report.
Now, though the opposition is united in the parliament, new friction points have emerged within the India bloc. From the mimicry row to opposition's PM face choice, parties within the alliance are seen sparring on multiple issues.
Unprecedented suspensions of opposition MPs seemed to unite the India bloc. But in reality, it split wide open in the opposition bloc. A day after the fourth meeting of India bloc, more differences than points of convergences emerge. TMC Supremo Mamata Banerjee kicking up a new controversy by alleging that it was Rahul Gandhi's recording of mimicry done by Kalyan Banerjee of Jagdeep Dhankar that made it a big controversy.
क्यों आप ऐसा बात करते हैं? हम तो रेस्पेक्ट करते हैं सबको ना. एक डिसरेस्पेक्ट का कोई बात नहीं होता है. इसको जस्ट पॉलिटिकली कैजुअली आपको तो पता भी नहीं चलता अगर राहुल जी वीडियो में तो छवि नहीं तुलता तो.
This prompted a fact check by Rahul Gandhi, who had to clarify that he hasn't shared or given the video he took and it's still with him.
वहाँ पे MPs बैठे हुए थे. मैंने उनका वीडियो लिया. मेरा वीडियो मेरे फोन पे है. मीडिया दिखा रहा है. मीडिया कह रहा है.
This wasn't the only issue that exposed the chinks in opposition unity.
इंडिया गठबंधन के वो जन्मदाता हैं. वो बगैर संयोजक के इसके जन्मदाता भी हैं और इसके संयोजक भी हैं.
Sources say that both the Bihar leaders, Lalu Yadav and Nitish Kumar, are upset with Mamata Banerjee and Arvind Kejriwal proposing the name of Mallikarjun Kharge as the prime ministerial face of the alliance in the meeting. The 12 other party bosses, in fact, batted for Kharge.
खड़गे जी को होना चाहिए. खड़गे जी अगर फेस होगा तो ठीक है. और हमको सपोर्ट दिया है अरविंद केजरीवाल.
Kharge himself turned it down by saying that leader of the alliance should be decided post the elections. The wedge between the Congress and Samajwadi Party also playing out, with some UP Congress leaders suggesting that Mayawati's BSP should be invited to join the opposition bloc. Samajwadi Party threatening to walk out of it if such a proposal is mooted. If this wasn't enough, the north-south divide has also created friction between Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar and Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin on the Hindi language issue. With elections just few months away, opposition's first big event will be nationwide protests against the suspension of its MPs. But the big question remains, can just defeat Modi be a glue for this bloc? With Sunil Prabhu, this is Maria Shakil for NDTV.
Staying with political news, Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee met Prime Minister Narendra Modi today over pending dues to West Bengal. The meeting between the Chief Minister and the Prime Minister comes amidst a huge tussle over withholding of central funds to West Bengal. Post-meeting, Mamata Banerjee in fact said that the Prime Minister has suggested a joint meeting between officials from both sides. However, BJP maintains that Mamata is only doing drama in Delhi.
Mamata Banerjee meeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New Delhi over central funds due to West Bengal.
155 teams already visited Bengal. जो भी clarification मांगा हम लोगों ने पूरा ऑफिसर ने वो clarification दिया. आज तक कुछ नहीं मिला. हम पहले भी तीन दफे प्राइम मिनिस्टर को मीट किया है और एक दफे भी मीट करके जा रहा हूँ.
Mamata Banerjee says the centre owes West Bengal 1.16 lakh crore rupees and that the funds have been withheld on flimsy grounds like branding and paint colour. And in a letter to the Prime Minister, she has said that depriving people of development funds has pushed millions into poverty.
प्राइम मिनिस्टर ध्यान से सुना और कहा है ठीक है हम दो ऑफिसर स्टेट का सेंट्रल को बैठ के मीट करके इसको कोई डिसीजन हम ले लेंगे. इतना तक हमारे साथ डिस्कशन हुआ है.
Meanwhile, leader of opposition in West Bengal, Shubhendu Adhikari, went to Nabanno, the state secretariat, with posters displaying how much the centre's allocation for several projects has increased in the last few years.
ममता जी जो ड्रामा दिल्ली में कर रही है उसको भंडाफोड़ करने के लिए उनका पॉलिटिकल जो कैंपेन है वो जुमलाबाजी के खिलाफ हम लोग सचिवालय पर आज हमारी अभियान हुआ.
Mamata Banerjee returned to Kolkata after a trip to New Delhi, which included a critical India alliance meeting and a meeting with the Prime Minister. With the Chief Minister and the Prime Minister taking up this issue, the expectation is that there could be a resolution to this long pending standoff. With camera person G.D. Shankar in Kolkata, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
Shifting tracks now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has broken his silence on allegations of a plot to kill Khalistani terrorist Gurpatwant Singh Pannu, saying that he will look into any evidence but added that a few incidents cannot derail India-US ties. Remember, Indian national Nikhil Gupta has been indicted by the US Justice Department for allegedly being part of a plot to kill the Khalistani extremist. Maha Siddiqui has the details.
For the first time since an Indian national, Nikhil Gupta was charged in the United States with an alleged plot to kill Khalistani extremist Gurpatwant Singh Pannu in New York on the behest of an Indian government official, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spoken about this grave allegation for the first time in an interview to the Financial Times, wherein he has said that India is willing to look into the issue. The Financial Times further goes on to quote the Prime Minister as saying that if information is provided to India, India is willing to look into the matter, as India is a country that goes by the rule of law. India has already set up a high-level inquiry committee to look into these grave allegations leveled by the United States. The Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson has already pointed out that such behavior, the allegation that has been made by the US of the Indian government official being involved in the alleged plot to kill a person overseas, is contrary to service rules, and this matter is being looked into gravely and seriously by India. The US has also welcomed this move already by the Indian government side and has said that it will wait for the outcome. In fact, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken is believed to have raised this issue with his counterpart S. Jaishankar when he was in New Delhi for the 2+2 dialogue. But what is significant in this interview to the Financial Times by the Prime Minister is the fact that he states that a few incidents are not capable of derailing the relationship between India and the United States. This comes on the back of concerns that this grave allegation against India could sour the ties with the United States, or rather upset the ties with Washington, D.C. Remember, a similar allegation has been made by Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, which has led to a souring of the relationship between Ottawa and New Delhi.
Now, the Union Health Ministry chaired a meeting to review preparedness amid a new COVID variant being reported in India. At the moment, there are 21 cases of JN.1 being reported in the country. The Union Health Minister said that there's no need to panic, though one must stay vigilant. The World Health Organization, in fact, has remarked that the public health risk due to the new variant is quite low.
An uptick in COVID cases in India with 341 new cases in the past 24 hours. Union Health Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia chaired a high-level meeting of health ministers of states and union territories to review preparedness. Experts are studying whether the spike in cases is linked to the COVID subvariant JN1, which was first reported in a 79-year-old woman in Kerala.
WHO ने इसको वेरिएंट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट करके कहा है. इसका मतलब ये है कि इसके ऊपर अभी और जानकारी की जरूरत है. कोई ऐसे क्राउडेड जगह में जा रहे हैं जहां पे भीड़ भाड़ है, मास्क पहन के रखिए.
Dr. Mandavia stressed on a collective effort between the centre and states. He also directed authorities to stay alert but not to panic.
Clearly, कोई पैनिक की बिल्कुल वजह नहीं है. This is a subvariant. There have been 16 deaths over 2 weeks, last 2 weeks. And all these deaths were in those individuals who had very serious other disease conditions.
The health minister also stressed on holding mock drills in hospitals once every 3 months and urged states to ensure preventive measures are taken during the winter season ahead of festivities. The World Health Organization on Tuesday classified the JN1 coronavirus strain as a variant of interest and has said that based on the available evidence, the additional global public health risk posed by JN1 is currently evaluated as low.
Although the government has emphasized that there is no need to panic, but it is up to all of us to ensure code-appropriate behavior and to take all precautionary measures as asked for by the government. With video journalist Sushil Rathi, this is Nukul Jashoria for NDTV.
News now from the national capital. In Delhi, Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal is likely to skip his ED summons on December 21st, as he is said to have headed for a 10-day Vipassana course. Remember, this is the second time that Kejriwal is skipping the summons, which is in connection to the Delhi excise policy case. Skipping the summons on November 2nd, Kejriwal had called the notice politically motivated. Business news now, and deposits that are unclaimed in bank accounts rise as much as 28% in financial year 2023. Sakshi Bajaj shares the highlights.
Unclaimed deposits with banks rise 28% in FY23 and are at 42,272 crore rupees as compared to 32,934 crore rupees in FY22 as per data shared with Parliament on Tuesday. Now remember, banks send unclaimed deposits of account holders lying in their accounts for 10 or more years to RBI's Depositor Education and Awareness Fund. RBI has taken various steps to reduce the quantum of unclaimed deposits and return such deposits to the rightful claimants, Minister of State for Finance Bhagwat K. Karad had said in a written reply to Rajya Sabha. He also said a centralized web portal called Unclaimed Deposits, gateway to access information to search unclaimed deposits across multiple banks, has now been set up by the RBI.
Now, Manipur witnessed one of the largest mass burials today, with 87 bodies buried in Churachandpur, one of the districts which was worst hit by the ethnic violence in March this year. The ceremony took place amid tight security measures with prohibitory orders in place.
A mass burial in Manipur's Churachandpur district for the bodies of 87 people, all belonging to the Kuki-Zo community, who were killed in the state's ethnic clashes from May, and whose bodies lay for close to 8 months in morgues. The delay in the burial had heightened tension in the region, putting pressure on an already fragile peace. It took a series of back-channel talks by the government with civil society groups for the burial to be facilitated. Hundreds of people turned up for the burial dressed in black. For the families, it was an extremely emotional closure.
Now is a duty for the government to institute a mechanism for separate administration, and we paid the price.
I think we wish most was to bring his body as fast as we can, let him rest at his home there. When he was brought back, we could not see his body. He was kept in a coffin. So, my uncle's son, who was staying also at Infal, confirmed it for us. It was unfortunate.
Well, the government would hope that the mass burials would pave a path for peace to return. People on both sides might take years to reconcile their losses. With K. Mangte in Churachandpur, in Guwahati, Ratndeep Chaudhary for NDTV.